More revelations in the IRS targeting scandal of conservative groups. Judicial Watch uncovering a new set of emails that may yet implicate another department of our government. For more on this story, we are pleased to be joined by Tom Fitton. He is the president for Judicial Watch. Tom, thanks for Skyping in from the nation's capital today.
Hey, you're welcome, JD. Thanks for covering this important story.
You bet. So give us the skinny. What do these new documents reveal?
Well, we are getting the first glimpses because of a lawsuit we filed against the Department of Justice to get access to this information of the so-called criminal investigation by the Holder Justice Department into the IRS over its illicit targeting of conservatives and Tea Party groups because they were in the way, in my view, of Obama's re-election campaign. I think this targeting continues today, by the way. But we know from other Judicial Watch investigations and lawsuits that we forced out, not Congress, not the media, that the Justice Department, just a few days before Lois Lerner admitted that they were illicitly targeting Tea Party groups, the Justice Department had been trying to talk to Lois Lerner about how to prosecute the very groups that the IRS was after. And then we found out later, because of our find, that Lerner actually had been going back in 2010 and talking to the Justice Department about putting people in jail who were in the way, again, I think, of the Obama machine. And these latest documents show that the group in the Justice Department, the Public Integrity Section, a lawyer of which was communicating with Lois Lerner about this very issue, a month later was investigating the IRS on that very issue in Cincinnati. So you've got that conflict going on. On top of that, the documents show, JD, that the IRS counsel's office was stalling what was then I think ought to have been a very serious criminal investigation of the matter, because the official in the IRS's Cincinnati office was willing to meet with prosecutors and the FBI, but they couldn't get permission from the IRS counsel's office. And it looked like it may have been delayed up to a month. And the IRS counsel, by the way, is an appointee, one of only two political appointees of the president in the entire IRS. Everyone else is a bureaucrat, a civil servant. And he's a former Democratic staffer, major Democratic contributor, and he's still there. And he's also at that office, and he has been implicated in the very scandal that it seems these documents suggest that his office was delaying.
There are so many layers to this that you just brought forth, Tom. Boy, just imagine if the roles were reversed and a Republican president were doing this. The Washington Post would be camped out in front of the IRS and the Department of Justice. Instead, it falls to you and your organization to offer these revelations. And since we're not the media, we're Newsmax, we're happy to bring these forward and give them the necessary attention they warrant. So let me just see if I have this straight. You basically have lawyers, attorneys who are at least ethically supposed to uphold the law, suborning their commitment to their profession and to legal ethics by playing politics, both in the Public Integrity Division of the Department of Justice and with the IRS counsel. And as you mentioned, the IRS counsel, one of only two political appointments, and you are saying that the IRS counsel was trying to slow down any type of disclosure from the IRS while the lawyers in charge of the investigation at the Department of Justice had, shall we say, a very indulgent, if not out-and-out complicit arm in helping the IRS target conservative groups.
Yeah, they wanted to talk to the IRS, and it wasn't like the IRS went to them. They went to the IRS about the idea of prosecuting people involved in these C4 groups, which were at issue with the IRS targeting scandal. And they reached out in 2010, and they reached out just a few days before Lois Lerner had to go out and she planted a question and then said, yeah, we've been targeting. And the only reason she said that was because she knew this investigation was going to be made public by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, which is the internal watchdog of the IRS. They were going to issue the report exposing it all. So she pretended to, confess in a forthcoming way when in fact she planted a question. Just a few days before, she had been talking to the Justice Department, and because she knew the Justice Department was interested in, because they were getting pressure from Democrats in the Senate, and of course Obama, all they needed to do was look to the sky, and they've had IRS officials going to the Obama White House on a regular basis, that they wanted these groups out. And if it meant putting them in jail, the Justice Department was looking into it. And as a result of our find, Congress sniffed further, and they found that the IRS sent taxpayer information about these groups, well over 1 million pages, to the FBI. The FBI had no business getting it. It was confidential taxpayer information, and it was a violation of law. There is so many. Your listeners and your viewers and your readers should understand the IRS scandal is only part of the story. This is an Obama administration scandal that involved the president's people and the president using all of his agencies, including that agency at the Justice Department that can put people in jail, to go after his political enemies in a way that would help him retain power as he was seeking re-election. If you want to know how an election is stolen in plain sight, take a look at the documents that Judicial Watch has been able to uncover through our independent lawsuits. And, I have to wonder why Congress hasn't gotten onto this in a more aggressive way. This is a crisis that needs more than just hearings. We need a serious criminal investigation of what went on. And the only thing I think that would result in that under the current law would be a special counsel, which is still answerable to the Attorney General, but in theory has more political independence and will be harder to rein in.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
And the
on
Obama
this.
donor, by the way, in the Justice Department, who we've exposed as being involved in the investigation, Barbara Bosserman, a big Obama donor, is actually part, if not leading, the investigation into the IRS scandal.
Fox guarding the henhouse indeed. Tom Fitton, we thank you for your time and your insights, and we know Judicial Watch will continue its work in the courts to get to information via lawsuits that Congress, despite its constitutional oversight duty, for whatever reason, has not or will not proceed. When we come back, more about the IRS, illegals getting tax credits. Tax attorney David Seelig will join us. Right now, we'll step aside for this Newsmax Now update.